Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ken and Mark Show.
Or how I learned to stop worrying and just call it football.
That's right, the show where the opinions are made up and the shape of the balls does not matter. Yes. How you doing, Kenny?
Not bad, man. How are you doing?
Well, we are now, what is it, 4 weeks out from the insurrection? I'm doing all right. I mean, who would have assumed that someone would try to overthrow the government a month ago?
That things would have calmed down. Well, wait, no. It's funny how you get used to things.
Isn't it, though?
Like, we've been doing this for a year now?
Almost, yeah.
Almost a year, like what, March, April?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny how you don't think of a year as a very long time, but it actually is. I mean,
yeah.
But it's funny how you can get, after just a couple months, how humans are so crazy about we fear change, like in our psyche, like that abrupt change, but it's only for like 2 weeks, and then eventually people just start falling. It just becomes part of your daily life, and then you just start falling in the line, and then everyone just goes, because eventually you got to go about your business.
It occurred to me today that the former president of the United States had for a top advisor a pillow salesman, and that wasn't the worst thing that he did. Like, no,
one of the, actually, if anything, that was one of the just whatever.
It's just one of those things that everybody just got used to.
There's a pillow salesman,
as absurd as it is,
who has got his back so hard that he is throwing his business away.
I know.
Like, dude, if there's all this evidence of election tampering, you know how many people would have to be involved in it for it to, A, be plausible, B, then be done?
Yeah.
And it'd be zero evidence. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Zero.
There's not even enough evidence to come up with a plausible conspiracy theory.
No, that's the thing. Like, all the conspiracy theories are about how there's no evidence.
Like, it's like that's not a conspiracy theory. There has to be enough evidence to form. Like, I can come up with a conspiracy theory how Donald Trump's actually a Russian, and he's an unknown Russian agent. Like, he's so stupid and vain and narcissistic that the Russians are getting intelligence out of him just because he's a dumbass.
Yeah.
And like, if one thing Donald Trump proved as president and as a person throughout his life, if you compliment him about anything, especially golf, he'll give you everything.
Oh, well, but that's how narcissists work.
Yeah.
As long as you feed their narcissism, you're their friend. The moment you turn it off, they want nothing to do with you.
Then you're a bad man.
All right. Sports. Okay. Let's do a little bit of whirlwind weekend review here.
All right.
Okay, so yes, it's back.
A whirlwind.
Right.
All
right.
You folks have sowed the wind. Now you reap the whirlwind.
Acting, ladies and gentlemen. The Super Bowl is set, Ken. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will host the Kansas City Chiefs in Tampa in the first time in history. The Super Bowl team will play a home game, which was not supposed to happen. This is another casualty of the pandemic, Ken. This Super Bowl was supposed to be played in Los Angeles, but because the stadium construction was delayed, it was moved to Tampa this year. So this would not have been a Tampa Bay home game under normal circumstances.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
We got the old goat versus the new goat. To paraphrase the immortal Will Smith from Men in Black, old and busted, New hotness.
New hotness. Yeah.
Who you got? Who you
who I
got?
got? Oh my God. Well, this is like asking a parent to choose what child he likes better. Because both of these, as we've talked throughout the years, especially these last 3 years or last 2 years with Mahomes. Oh, last 3 years with Mahomes. I mean, this is a rough one. I mean, but going with my gut and my first, like, what team do I believe has it's? I have to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, just because it's not like Patrick Mahomes is just a younger version and doing the things that Tom Brady did at a younger age. And I believe their defenses pretty much stack up the same. I think they're a wash. It'll come down to who's protecting the ball better. And I believe Mahomes doesn't have nearly as many interceptions as Brady does.
I think it's
Chiefs on this.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's defense has played really well, but I think Kansas City's offense is better than Tampa's defense, and that's going to be what this comes down to.
Because, I mean, the Tampa Bay's defense hasn't they showed when they had to play a mobile quarterback in Washington.
Yes.
That they had a little trouble with Washington.
And
that was a guy from the XFL or something, or the American, like, that was a third string that did that to them.
Yeah. And I'm also told that
both of their safeties are injured.
I heard both their starting corners are out.
So
I mean, are you gonna cover Tyreek Hill with the second string corner all game? I don't think so.
Or Hardman, or
anybody. Sammy Watkins.
Who are you gonna? And don't forget about Kelce.
Travis Kelce, right?
Yeah.
I just think that Kansas City's offense has too many options.
And with Kansas City, like, basically Tampa Bay is the older version of Kansas City's team.
Yes.
Like, older wide receivers, but they're great. Older running backs, but they're great. Like,
yeah, older tight end. He's great.
But now you look at Kansas City, they've got the rookie running back who is backed up by Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
Now the one X factor here, and he hasn't made much noise. I think he's got one touchdown. The one X factor I could see that could blow this game wide open, and maybe they've been saving him for this occasion, is Tampa Bay has Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has a history of showing up in big occasions.
The last thing I read, though, is that he wasn't going to play in Super Bowl.
He's not going to play in this game?
That's the last thing I read. That could have changed. That might have been an old article, but the last thing I knew, he wasn't going to play in the game.
I could see him play. I could see him, if he plays, he's a wild card.
I mean, Tom Brady's performance is going to come down to, is he pressured or is he not? When he's not pressured, he's the best quarterback in the league. When he's pressured, he is mediocre to bad.
Well, you can say that about damn near any quarterback,
except Patrick Mahomes.
But true, as a younger. But I'm saying, like, you look at a lot of quarterbacks. If you get pressure on them, usually their quarterback rating comes down. But Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yes, but the difference between Tom Brady's non-pressure rating and his is dramatic.
That's where Mahomes almost, like, it's like he's played his entire football career on the run. I mean, at Texas Tech, not really known for its offensive linemen in the league.
Right.
And that offense he played under, like air raid offense, I mean, a lot of bootlegs, a lot of getting your quarterback out of the pocket. So going from college to NFL, if he gets time in the pocket, he'll pick you apart. I mean, Mahomes is the quarterback that most every offensive coordinator dreams of. Yeah. A guy that can sit in a pocket and pick you apart, but also if he gets into trouble, can, drag a play out, or he can run for it. I mean, there's no deficiency in his game.
No.
I can't find a weakness in his quarterback play.
No. So yeah, I think we're both calling the Chiefs on this one, right?
Yeah, I think it's close. If long as the Chiefs don't turn the ball over, then they got an easy win. If they turn the ball over, I think that's what we'll keep. You don't want to give Brady a lot of tries at this.
You don't, but you do have. But your guy's pretty good too. So, if Tom Brady comes in and throws 3 picks like he did last week,
if he tries to
that game is over.
If he tries to give the game away to Kansas City, Kansas City will take it. Unlike Green Bay, who was like, we don't want it.
We don't want it for some reason. Right.
I mean, 3 straight picks. Now we're good. We'll take 2 field goals.
Yeah. No.
That was messed up. I'm glad that wasn't my team. I would have thrown my head through a window. I mean, you're talking 3 straight picks, and you get 6 fucking points out of it. Oh my God. I would have been screaming. I would have had been like surrounded by stuffed animals. I've been hitting everything.
Green Bay did not play particularly well, and it's kind of a shame because Brady didn't play particularly well either. But I mean, Green Bay had more than enough chances to win that game, and they didn't. So
the reason why Tampa Bay is going to the Super Bowl, not Green Bay, is it's the biggest cliche in football. It's so simple. It's like a madnism.
When you get to the red zone, you got to come away with touchdowns.
Yeah, you got to score touchdowns, not kick field goals.
Exactly.
Oh, really? So,
exactly.
Wow, it's the sage wisdom of some announcer saying, "Well, the problem is they're only kicking field goals, and you got to score a touchdown." Really?
Right. All right. So for our next episode will be after the Super Bowl. Actually, you watch commercials.
I'm pretty sure we called it though. I know one of us called Tampa Bay Chiefs. I want to say at the beginning of the season. You called
Tampa at the beginning of the season.
I want to say I want to say I might have been me.
I know you called Tampa, so I
know I would have called it.
You're Chiefs. At least half right.
I know I would have called it Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is the god. I think that I want to say I'm gonna have to look for that one at the beginning of the season.
So brush up on your commercials because we'll talk about them next week.
Hell, we can talk about them Wednesday because they'll all be on the internet.
Exactly. There you go.
I hate that so much. I know we talk about it.
I don't like it.
I hate that. It's like I don't want to see the top 10 commercials.
No,
if I made these commercials, I would be like, don't you air my commercial what was the point of paying $6 million for this air spot?
Nothing. This on a related note, this is the first year in 50 years that Budweiser will not have a commercial during the Super Bowl. They decided to take their $6 million and use it to help COVID victims instead of paying for a commercial. So good on you, bud.
Why can't you do both?
Why bother? I guess. I don't know.
I'm guessing you got it. Budweiser, I'm guessing you got enough money.
The quarterback carousel has begun, Ken. There are all kinds of quarterbacks in all kinds of places that don't want to be where they are. Just earlier today, it was confirmed that the Detroit Lions have traded one Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and whoever the guy is that plays quarterback for them right now that's dramatically overpaid. I believe it's Jared Goff.
Goff.
I can't help but feel like Detroit came out on the bad end of this.
Welcome to the NFC North, Jared Goff.
I feel like the Lions have just dialed in 10 more years of mediocrity.
Oh man.
For $30 million a year at quarterback, I don't even know how much Goff makes.
I can't talk. I would take Goff over Trubisky.
Would you?
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Which one's been to a Super Bowl?
Fair.
Which one has made the playoffs the last 2 years?
Fair. Well, you still, Deshaun Watson is still out there, Kenny. What do you? What are the Bears? What package are the Bears putting together to send to Houston to pick up Deshaun Watson?
I think the Bears are going to go for a draft quarterback.
Are they?
Which is stupid because we have a horrible GM who is trying to murder, who hates his head coach.
How are your GM and coach still employed there?
Because out of the 3 years Nagy's been there, he's been in the playoffs twice. And Nagy doesn't like this GM because when he inherited Mitch Trubisky. And it's like, but Nagy fucked up by hitching his wagon to Foles, which was a mistake.
Yes. Which we knew it was a mistake at the time.
And predicted, like, this is like, I thought, okay, he's going in with Nick Foles, he's got to do something, but they probably make the playoffs with the 8-8 record. We finished 8-8 last season.
Yep.
I mean, he probably should have been fired, but he hasn't lost the players. I'll say that. I think he just needs a quarterback to run this offense. Because it's the same offense that Kansas City runs. And we need a guy back there that can play quarterback, and we can see what this all, because Trubisky, every once in a while he gets it and it's like, wow, see how the ball gets it's spread around. He throws for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, this is what this offense is capable of. Putting up 4, like, it was the first time in Bears history we scored 40 points in like 3+ straight games or some shit like that. Like, like, this is what this offense can do. But it's like Trubisky can only do it 5-6 times a year tops.
Yeah.
Like, we need a guy that consistently play quarterback.
Well, you don't have one yet.
No. Trubisky will stay in the league. He'll stay in the league as a backup. To me, he's got backup written all over him. Like, he's good enough to come in for 3 or 4 games a season and be serviceable until his legs go. Because what Mitch keeps forgetting, and I think I don't know if it's coaching or if it's him, that he's trying to be a legs quarterback. He's forgotten to run the football. When he runs it, then linebackers aren't quick to like run in there and get pressure on you, because once you gas them for 20 yards 3 straight plays, because they've gotten pressure in there, they're not going to come on their blitzes quick.
I think that there's now only one real quarterback in the NFC North, and he may not be there all that much longer if he decides that he wants out.
Well, there's a great stat. There's only 2 quarterbacks that are still playing today that have thrown for over 44,000 yards and under 150 interceptions.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Matt Stafford. You believe that?
I think the Rams have been a competent quarterback away from the Super Bowl for like 3 of the last 4 years. And I think that I'm pretty nervous for the Seahawks now that the Rams have a competent quarterback. We lost to the Rams all the time anyway. I mean, their defense is designed to defeat Seattle. But now it's not just defensively that we're going to get smoked.
Stafford's going to go up. He'll throw for 5,000 yards next year.
Yeah.
If they all, what the Rams need is another wide receiver out there, which I think they'll probably pick up in the draft, because they can't keep the really good one. The second guy, they're over the cap.
Yeah.
And the reason why they had to get rid of Goff and this to try to get that cap down, because they're not going to be able to re-sign this one wide receiver, which will bring down their cap a little bit more. So I think they're going to have to go looking for a wide receiver in the draft. But there's going to be plenty out there. If they can draft a good rookie, I mean, Stafford will put the ball on a plate for him. I mean, he's only 32 years old.
Keep Cooper Kupp healthy. Keep your new running back healthy, and Stafford will deliver passes for you. And
Stafford,
you're
Lions,
back to the Super Bowl.
The Lions' problem has never been quarterback. Like, they're the opposite of the Bears. The Bears have always had running backs and defense.
Yes.
No quarterback to lead them.
Yeah.
The Lions have had a quarterback to lead them and had some damn good wide receivers with that quarterback, but no running game. He's never
no running game.
Matt Stafford is. I didn't know this. Matt Stafford has never had a 1,000-yard rusher.
Nope. Never.
It's like, and you don't realize how important having that running game is until you don't have it.
Yep.
It takes so much pressure off of your quarterback.
Yep.
I mean,
that is one thing people have in LA.
In this day and age of, bombing it out, scoring 50 points, you still got to be able to just hand the ball off and give it to the guy, because sometimes you just need to eat 4 minutes off the clock.
Right.
And a running game allows you to do that.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, basically, Matt Stafford has set the going rate for, like, his level of quarterback play is worth 2 first-round picks, 2 third rounds, and
a third-round pick, and
actually, if you want to say it's
Jared Goff.
Oh, well, you could say 3 first-round picks, because Goff was a first-round pick, right?
Yes.
So 3 first-round picks, 2 thirds.
Yeah. Where do you think Watson ends up?
Texas. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I mean,
the Texans have said they're not going to trade him.
Yeah, but again,
I think he's got a messy. What he has a problem now. Watson doesn't realize he's got to deal with some Jesus freaks down there.
Yeah,
and with Easterby, and he's not like the kind, like live and let live kind of. He's an evangelical guy, I think, and I don't trust those people. They're just snaky. It's weird. I trust the Catholic Church more than I trust the evangelicals, and Catholic Church ain't got a very good fucking history.
I think that if Houston could get,
you'd have to give them a king's
the
ransom.
the thing is, they're so dysfunctional anyway. What would they even know what to do with the talent if they got it?
Yeah, they would. They wouldn't know what to do with it. They trade it all away. They've had the talent before.
No, that's
get rid of it. That's what you do.
Right. That's right.
See, what the Texans are just like the Chicago Cubs for a long time. The Cubs always had one good pitcher, and that was either a reliever or a starter, and one good bat, and then an older veteran that everyone loved. You give us a guy that can hit the ball far, the old scrappy veteran that we love to watch, and one good pitcher, and we're set. We don't need a team. We'll lose 100 fucking games. We'll fill that stadium every year.
I remember when the Cubs had 2 good pitchers, and all of a sudden they were lighting people up until Kerry Wood's arm collapsed.
See, that's what happens when a guy doesn't take steroids. See, Mark Pryor takes steroids. I feel so cheated. I feel like I got cheated on, like, by my girlfriend when I found out Mark Pryor took steroids. Because I remember being like, "Oh my God, look how effortless that fastball is! Oh my God, look at it! Look how his legs, they just spread, and it's so effortless! Oh my God, he's beautiful, Mark Pryor, you're amazing." Then you find out, oh, he's juicing. It's like, you motherfucker! Like Wood Pryor, dude. Baseball. That was such a beautiful, like 2000, like the late 2000s with Wood and Pryor. I watched a great what am I talking about? I don't want to take a tangent, even though that's basically the only reason I'm fucking here. There's a great the Cubs YouTube channel. did a little documentary about it came out a couple years ago. Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game.
Yeah.
And it was really well done, I gotta say. I don't know who made that, because it's a early season, regular season game, but they made it seem like it was a World Series game. I mean, the way they did the interviews, the way they strung in the footage of the game happening, like it was almost like you're tense. Like, is he gonna get it? It's like, well, the only reason they made this motherfucker is because he did it. It's like, exactly. But you have a good storyteller if it's like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna get 20 strikeouts? And it's like, when I was like, why did that thought? Like, I think my mom, she said something like, he did it, so why the fuck are you like? Why y'all tense right now? I'm like, okay, yeah, I got a point there. Fair but enough. That's how good it was. I was very impressed.
Any other NFL notes before we move on?
I want to say, well, there's the whole Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah, but nothing's happened yet, so I didn't have anything to
I think
about it.
He's not leaving Green Bay. But there's very few players with that stature that can hold a team like it's a story team like the Green Bay Packers. Only a guy like Aaron Rodgers you got to be a Rodgers or a Favre. You got to be able to go by just your last name.
Yeah.
Like, you got Starr, you got Favre, you got Rodgers. You got to have a discount, double check to be able to where everyone is hanging on your every word. And he knew what he was doing in that interview, that post game. Like, I don't know what's certain. He knew that the media would just eat it up and do it. And Rodgers ain't stupid.
Yeah. I of all the places to go, like of all the places that are looking for quarterbacks, looking at what they have, I don't think he would be in any better place in any of those places than he would be in
San Francisco. I think if Rodgers went to San Francisco, they win a Super Bowl next year. If they get everybody back healthy, he's got a great running game, a fucking stacked defense. If that defense can stay healthy, the defense is stacked. They went 7-9 with, like, I think they had 30 injuries or something. It was insane. I think you could have fielded an offense and a defense with the injuries they had.
They were playing second and third string guys most of the year.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they called up their entire practice squad and brought in an entire new practice squad to fill the roster holes. I mean, it was
if they had a competent quarterback, man, the NFC West would be ridiculous with Stafford, Rodgers, Wilson, and Kyler Murray would be like the odd man out all of a sudden.
Question: Is it official? I haven't heard anything, but I don't think it's official. But has Drew Brees played his last game in New Orleans?
It is not official yet, but it certainly looks like it.
It looked like it.
It certainly looks like it. And maybe that's another spot you go, except that you just gave Taysom Hill a bunch of money.
Everything I'm watching is this was the last year of the New Orleans Saints, as you know them. They're $100 million over the cap.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, they have significant salary cap issues. All right, moving on. Soccer, Ken. What a bizarre week we've had in soccer. At the start of the week, I believe Manchester United was alone at the top of the table at the start of this week. Yes.
Yeah.
By a point or two.
Oh God.
Liverpool was in a downward spiral. They had lost 2 of the last 3 games and drawn the other one, and they looked like shit.
Yeah.
Chelsea fired their manager after 18 months for, as far as I can tell, no good reason.
Well, the reason being was they spent £300 million and then we're in 9th place. So,
okay, but 18 months. I mean, how long did it take Klopp to turn Liverpool into something?
4 years.
Exactly. So 18 months seems a little ridiculous.
But this is Chelsea Football Club. This is Roman Abramovich. Did you?
Yes.
Yes, but did you also see they only gave Thomas Tuchel an 18-month contract?
Yeah.
I talk about a stereotype just being like, really?
This
You're
is
only
like
gonna,
this. You so so
I'm sorry.
PSG fires him, hires Pochettino. Roman Abramovich goes, yeah, screw Frank Lampard. I'm going to get the guy that PSG just canned because they can't win Champions League. How is that supposed to improve your team?
I don't know, but if I'm Thomas Tuchel, don't buy a house in London.
I don't know how anyone can afford a house.
Don't move. Don't even move your. Don't move your family.
Yeah,
Like,
no, just
you're not.
just stay in Paris, dude. Live in a
You're not
hotel
going
for
to
a
stay
while.
there long.
No, live in a hotel for a while because it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, they beat Burnley today 2-0, but that's a new manager bounce. So let's see where they're at, in a couple months. No, this season has just been I mean, what do you say?
Nobody has looked particularly good.
No.
I mean, their points are being dropped all over the place, and you can't look at the top 8 or 9 teams and show me a dominant team. There isn't one. There isn't one. They're not there.
We're going to have a race because United, we lost to Sheffield United, last place team. But then this next week, they took City to the wire.
Yep.
City had to beat them in the 90th minute with a 1-0 victory. So now
Yep.
that loss to Sheffield ain't looking so bad. It's like, wow, holy, like, where are these guys? Like, have they finally gotten it put together from last season? Which, if I'm looking at the next opponent for Sheffield United, I wouldn't want to play them because if they just beat Manchester United, they just took City to the wire. Like,
Yeah,
they're playing a lot better.
And then Liverpool lost 3 games to bottom 5 teams before this last
This is
2 or 3 game skid. It's just been the season. It's not a typical season where there's 3 or 4 good teams and you know who they are. You have no idea right now.
I could not predict you a top 4 right now.
No.
I have no idea. Everyone in the top 4 right now could easily be out of it, and 4 more teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you have, because when Chelsea fired Lampard, they were in 9th place, but they're only 5 points out of 4th. It wasn't like they were 10. It wasn't like they were 10 points back or something crazy.
Exactly.
I mean, within 2 games, you're back up there.
You're right back in it, right?
Because that's been the thing is the teams that are doing great on top, they've just had a good 3 weeks, and the teams that have fallen off have had a bad 2 weeks, and then it's almost they just keep doing this.
Yeah,
it's like okay, United's out of the title race now with a tie against Arsenal. They dropped 4 points. That's it. Then we'll go out and we'll win 2 more games, and then we'll be back up. It's been this has been the craziest. By this time in the season, we usually have 2 teams, definitely at least one. At least have one team who is really good. There could be maybe a second team with them, maybe a third team. Not 6 or 7 teams that are realistically have a chance of doing something crazy. I mean, I see a scenario where Aston Villa and West Ham are in the Final 4.
Because that's a thing that could happen.
They don't have to play the Champions League. They have whatever cups they might still be in, they don't have to, like, all the really good teams have to, keep playing, Europe games. And that you always catch an injury. You guys are tired. All these guys like Everton, West Ham, and Aston Villa, they don't have those games. So they get to rest.
Right.
I mean, we saw when Chelsea didn't have any Champions League or European football, they went from, finishing 10th to winning the league.
Right. Yeah. It's weird that in February it's too early to tell who's good and who's not.
It's been a while. It's usually like by beginning of February, you can usually pick 3 teams that this they've separated, like the top 3 have separated themselves so much to where the 4th might be up for grabs.
Yeah.
But they're usually like between 9th and 1st, it should be like 20 points, not 10.
Yeah. Not this year. It's different. It's different this year.
It's crazy.
A kind of cautiously negative note from hockey. For the NHL had been doing the best out of all the professional sports leagues in terms of COVID transmissions. They just had a first round draft pick have to return to Austria for treatment for COVID complications. So we hope he's going to be okay. But that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
That's
a hockey player.
That's a hockey player. He's 20. He's 19 years old, 20 years old. I mean,
like those guys are in the best conditions of their life.
Yeah.
Well, we fucked around and we let it stick around because we instead of just taking 3 months and killing it, we let it stick around and mutate a lot. So now, who knows what it can do? This probably gonna be around forever.
Yeah. The Olympics are still in doubt. The Japanese prime minister claims he does want to hold them if possible, but that may or may not be possible. So,
I mean, at this rate, all summer games like the Euros, I mean, everything might be pushed back another year.
Again, yeah. One other pro sports thing. I don't think we talked since James Harden left Houston for Brooklyn.
Oh yeah. Back with Kevin Durant.
Back with Kevin Durant and one Kyrie Irving on the Brooklyn Nets. Harden is one of those weird things, like where obviously the guy is obviously a great basketball player.
Yeah, he's one of those weird things. He's a person, Mark, not a thing.
Watching him play basketball is painful. It's just boring, and I'm kind of amused how like guys can just engineer their way out of any situation they don't want to be in.
Is he
It's amazing.
Is he the same James Harden he was 4 years ago?
I have no idea.
Like, what do they get?
I mean, they've been doing pretty well since he got there, so I guess that helps him out. But I mean,
let's see if I got a feeling it's all going to fall apart on the Brooklyn Nets, like even postseason.
It very well might.
I see them I see Harden, Irving, and Durant bitching at each other instead of coming together. You got to have a strong coach to keep those egos in check.
Oh yeah, and you have a rookie coach. Rookie coach in Steve Nash has been tasked with keeping those guys together. Steve Nash.
Well, I'll at least give him this. He's not he knows the NBA.
Oh yeah. Yes, he does.
There's one thing Steve Nash knows is the NBA. So he's been around every ego.
He has.
Hell,
this is his first year. This is his first year coaching. So
he can say, "Hell, I played against you, motherfucker. Shut the hell
up." I think that's it for the whirlwind, isn't it?
I mean,
what else happened? Nothing else happened.
Nothing. I mean, Ronald Koeman has come out and said Barcelona will be fighting for no major trophies this year.
Well, I mean, I don't know that we needed him to tell us that. I think we could see that.
But in February or in late January, a Barcelona coach is saying that. It's like
wow. What? How have they screwed that up so badly?
Bad. We talked about it the other weekend. I mean, it's bad player management and taking Messi for granted.
Yeah, I think and not building around him, like not
There's no few like
building a structure to
there's
replace
been
him.
no like a lot of teams you see like they've got like one thing I love about the English Premier League is there's a lot they love the young debutantes in England. They love it when a especially a young English kid who comes through the ranks and makes his debut. Love it. There's a tradition of the academies and having a player come up through your academy, even if he's a foreign born player, like, but if you sign him at like 10, 11, 12, and he's at as long as he's at your academy for like 4 or 5 years, then basically he's yours and you brought him up.
Right.
They love playing the young kids. Barcelona, famed for its academy. I mean, with La Masia. When's the last time you've heard of a Barcelona like academy graduate come through the ranks? What happened to that? Barcelona became Barcelona because of that. The Xavis,
Messi.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and Iniesta.
Yeah, Iniesta.
Xavi,
yeah,
Messi. Yeah, they engineered all those guys from their academy, and
PK,
then
Carlos Puyo. I mean, all these guys. I mean,
yeah, and then they stopped doing it. And
why would you stop doing it? Why would La
know.
Mesa or what? I think it's La Mesa. I can't remember, but it's got a name. But why would they stop making players? I know they still got an academy, but are they just?
I don't know.
It seems like they're trading off their young talent to get the big name in for a year or two.
Maybe. Although, I mean, I don't even hear of Barcelona academy players going elsewhere anymore. Like if you asked me to name a Barcelona academy player, I couldn't do that.
But there's usually Barcelona. Had that fame for they love bringing up one of their academy players. That's how Barcelona became big. Is they didn't have to spend millions of pounds or millions of euros buying players. They made them.
Right.
And when you're making players and then selling them for 100 million, that's big business. That's capitalism at its. I mean, come on.
All right, that's gonna do it for this week's Whirlwind Week in Review. Reap the whirlwind, people. Reap the whirlwind.
When you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind.
Love it, hate it, Ken. What do you love this week?
Oh, what I love this week? Oh, I love what I'm loving this week. I am loving the fact that I got my fix. I got my fix back. The Marvel Cinematic Universe fix. Oh, I was jonesing for some MCU.
It's the WandaVision.
For the last month, WandaVision has been keeping me captivated.
Yes.
Well, actually, not the last month, last couple weeks, but anyways, last 3 weeks. It is so good. I love every minute of it. There's 4 episodes in. They've kind of letting you know what's going on. You've had this is kind of quirky. There's been some weird stuff going on. Then there's like, what the hell? And it's just a good TV show. Just it's fun. I like what they're doing with the old sitcom tropes. Yeah. And going back to like your late 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, and then making the switch. They did like one episode was like a Bewitched episode. Right. And Bewitched, we started out in black and white and made it switch to color. And like 3/4 through the episode, they go from black and white to color. So I was like, that was a nice little touch right there. And Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen must be just having the time of because they're playing these superhero characters, but then being able to play them as old sitcom stars. They're chewing the scenery. They look like they're having the time of their lives. Like as an actor, it looks like so much fun. Like to just play it, to be as hammy and play it up like that. I mean, yeah. Oh, really, darling? It's just and they have commercials in it. They're fake commercials.
I've heard the fake commercials are terrific.
And the first one was about Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark, just Stark Industries. Which remember, Stark Industries what killed their parents. And then the second one was Oh, I can't remember that German, that Hydra. Oh, damn it. Anyways, the product was the 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 Hydra agent with the mind control staff that made her and her brother into
Oh yeah,
enhanced people. Strucker.
yeah.
That's what it was. Von Strucker.
Uh-huh.
Strucker. It was like Strucker something. And it was like, I was like, oh, that's the guy that turned her into what she is now. So
Uh-huh.
Stark this and then Strucker. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Uh-huh.
So it's like there's a lot of things where you think you know where it's going. I love when I think I know where something's going, and then they flip it. But it's not so much of a flip where it's like that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like I
Right.
was close, but it's off just enough where I'm like, oh, like that's so good.
Uh-huh.
Great show. Disney Plus, like they may not have a lot of shows, but it's well worth the money. Mandalorian, WandaVision.
Yeah.
And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up later. Dude, I'm good. Keep this pandemic rolling. I don't have to get out of the house. I never have to get into shape. I never have to see anybody. This is awesome. I just go to work and watch television.
It's perfect.
It's like I'm just going to exist and make money for someone else until I die. It's perfect capitalism.
It's kind of what we've been doing this whole time.
Yep, tell what you love. Who needs hopes and dreams?
Who needs hopes and dreams anymore? That's right.
I don't need to accomplish anything with my life. That's crazy.
I've been building myself a computer, and I've been waiting for 3 months for a video card because apparently there's a video card shortage, and
I can see that.
For 3 to 4 months you couldn't find one. But my guy, the guy that I get my stuff from.
Okay. I got a guy that get my
So he calls me last week. He's like, "Look, I got five cards in. If you want one, you come get it because they'll be gone by tomorrow." I'm like, "All right." So I went down and I got one, and I finally have all the parts, all the pieces, put it together.
You got your processor.
Oh yeah, I got the processor, I got the boards, I got the hard drives, I got the video cards, I got everything. Tomorrow night I'm gonna put the operating system on it and start it up, see what happens.
What are you gonna just Windows 10? What go you with?
Yeah, it's a PC. So yeah, Windows.
Nice,
but
dude.
I mean,
computer.
It took.
What kind of video card you get?
It's a GeForce 3070.
Are you gonna have it like liquid cooled?
Big ones.
You're gonna have all the lights in it and shit.
I do have a liquid cooler. I haven't decided if I'm gonna apply it yet or not, but I do have.
You love it. You love it, don't you? It's like
I do. It's been kind of a cool experience.
This PC so hot, I got a liquid cool this time.
Although I do understand why computers are assembled by tiny Asian women in factories.
I couldn't do it, man. My hands shake so bad. I'd be like,
well, I don't have regular sized fingers. I have large fingers, and that makes everything inside the case just complicated. Right? It's just impossible. Like I didn't have a magnetic screwdriver, and I don't have.
Oh, you gotta at least have that.
I don't have either of those things. So assembly was a riot.
It'd be funny if you told me like next week Ching Chao will be coming in from China. I've been waiting 3 or 4 months to get her over here. She'll be putting it together. And then like next Ken and Marshall, she just hello.
I'm trying to put my second M2 SATA hard drive in, right? And it's got this tiny little screw that's like, that big.
Oh yeah.
And I've already got to like go around the card and above the thing. And so I've got like tweezers holding the screw, and then a screwdriver that's kind of at an angle, and it's not made to be on an angle, so it's not turning anything. And that was 20 minutes of
yelling,
minutes of entertainment for
mother,
everybody else around you.
You turn into Yosemite Sam for a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. How many times did I drop the screw inside the case?
Oh man,
Half a dozen. Yeah.
that reminds me of just like so many times of trying to change a part in a car, and you're laying on your back.
Yep.
Especially if it's like cold out. You lay on your back in the asphalt, and you got your arm is tucked in like this, and you've just got your two fingers trying to turn that. And then if it falls, or if you're on top of the engine and you're working on something, you hope if you drop something, you hear it hit the ground and not stop.
Yep. And it hits metal. It's like plank, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you want to hear. Everyone knows the sound of how a tool or a nut sounds when it hits asphalt or concrete.
Yes, that's what you want.
It's there's a very different sound than hitting an engine part and then stopping.
Oh yeah, I've been there as well. Those are the ones where like you simply can't get the wrench in there. So you got your little finger, and there's no way that you can just turn this thing. You're just hoping that you can get enough torque on it to turn it.
It's fun, like how you have to do it with like your mind's eye. Like there's so many times I've had to do it to where it's like I've almost got to use the force and imagine where my hand is and be like, I can picture it. And picture it. You feel it like.
Yep.
Because car designers put things in places now to where you have to take it into someplace.
Oh well, yeah. Well, but the engines now are so complicated.
Oh,
the computer and the fuel injection system and all that stuff is just, it's way more complicated than it ever was. If you look inside an old car,
they do it on purpose.
Find an old like V8 and open the hood and see how much space is in there.
Yeah, it's the engine. You can see,
and then find a modern.
You can see down to the ground.
Yes, and then find a modern 4-cylinder car and try to do the same thing. Not possible.
They pack everything in that fucking little compartment.
Yep.
Oh my God,
everything's
it's horrible. It's horrible.
There's no room in there.
But I hate working on front wheel drive cars. Oh my God.
That's even worse.
It's bad enough when you got to work on just the engine, but like when you got a front wheel drive, you got a transmission right there too. It's like, everything sideways.
Oh, what do you hate, Ken?
Oh, what do I hate? Oh, what do I hate?
Yes, sir.
I hate executive orders.
You do?
I hate executive orders.
Okay.
I'm tired of this game. President Obama does this stuff, and then another president comes in and takes it all away, and then the next president comes in and has got to undo all the things he did that this president did.
Right.
Because Congress is too much pussies to do anything, because they figured out if we give the president enough power, not all the power, but just enough to where his executive orders can do stuff. He's only around every 4 years, and if anything goes wrong with those things, we can always just blame the one guy instead of the party. We don't have to do anything. Where it's like, no, you guys need to start passing some fucking laws.
So here's the thing, right? Part of that is our fault. Part of that is the American public keeps saying that they want Congress to work together to pass bills, but they keep electing further and further opposite politicians to Congress. Well, those two things don't go together.
That's oil and water.
Yeah. And number two, you're absolutely right that Congress has ceded so much of its power that it has become largely useless for most things that aren't major pieces of legislation.
Like
they did it, and they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And you can the perfect example is the War Powers Act, right?
Oh God, that's such a pussy act.
Congress has the sole power to declare
war,
right? But after 9/11, Congress was like, well, we don't want to get blamed for that shit again.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give the president executive authority to act against terrorism whenever he feels like it.
Yeah. It's like,
And that way, if something goes wrong, it's his fault, and we never have to vote on it.
we don't have to do shit about it.
And so now the president can basically blow up anybody he wants.
Yeah.
Because War Powers Act.
And
you're
basically,
right.
the president doesn't. It's all about. Then you basically have a military that can run itself if it wants to.
Yeah.
And a military doesn't really. They are always they're controlled by orders. But if the orders from top brass come down, because top brass if they're controlled by special interest groups, then those orders are polluted, and basically are serving. It's not serving the American people; it's actually serving American business. And that, I mean, well, let's just be honest: the American military has always served American business. It's or America's interests. I'm sorry, interest overseas.
Yeah, we don't use the word business. We use the word
America's interest.
Yeah,
interest.
right.
Yeah,
right.
And why are we interested in shit overseas? Business.
Business. Right.
Wow, that's like I'm not spilling the beans here. I mean, if you don't realize this, you're an idiot. That's capitalism in a box. But no, it's just I hate it. I'm just tired of. I don't want to play this game over and over where one president it's just this has got to. I want to go back to Congress. I wish we'd get people in Congress that cared more about legislation and doing the job instead of their own political careers. I think they don't realize they're actually harming their political, like how people will think about them in the future is going to be so horrible. They think they're building this grand future for themselves, but they look like horrible people.
This is the thing I never understand.
They'll have no major legislation on the further. Like you look at Joe Biden's like his Senate tenure, he's done this, all these like back when they used to do bills. He's got a lot of shit he can point to. Like, what can Matt Gaetz point to? Nothing.
Nothing. But he kind of likes it that way because he uses Congress as a platform to promote himself.
Like that's it.
He has no interest in governing, none at all.
Because that's right. I forgot. Because the Republican Party hates government, so they've got to show that government doesn't work, so you can shrink the government.
Exactly. Government doesn't work.
Because you got to privatize.
Elect me and I'll prove it to you.
Because they'll privatize everything. And that's where because everyone knows private business really gets things done on time and on budget. They're great with budgets. But when we take it out of the government's hands, budgets seem to skyrocket. Oh, I wonder why. Fucking idiots.
Yeah. Congress is a
Congress. We need the people. But you're right. You're 100% right. We have been so disconnected from our politics.
Yeah.
That they have had a good 30 years of doing whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And there's a new class of people in there that are all about themselves, and they don't care about governing for what's best for America. It's about themselves and their fellow rich people.
And this has kind of always been the weird thing, right? Like everybody, almost everyone in Congress is independently wealthy.
Yeah.
And if not independently wealthy, well off.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
almost everyone. So taking a congressional job is actually a demotion in terms of salary.
But it's salary.
Right.
But it helps you. You're also taking one for the team because you are now in there and get bills passed for the team outside. It's like insider trading. Like you got to have the inside guy. One guy takes one for the team to get bills passed. I mean, how oh boy, that was Trump's chief of staff, Kennedy.
Meadows,
the old guy that's supposed to change things up, and he ended up being in charge of all the fucking ICE camps, and he got that bill passed through about seizing all the immigrants coming across the border, where he actually owns the business that builds those camps.
Right.
It's like, wow.
and the guy that took over the post office, who owns a controlling share in a private package delivery company.
It's like, are you fucking?
That is contracted to deliver all the mail that the post office cannot deliver.
The oil guy in charge of the EPA. It's like, are you fucking?
Yeah.
Kidding? You're doing this as a joke now. But I mean, I'll say this: Joe Biden. He's still not. I mean, he's not going to go as far as I want to. I mean, because he's basically a Republican. Like people like being a liberal.
Basically
a liberal anywhere else is still a conservative person. It's still a Republican.
He's an old school Republican. In that, like, in that moderate, not a current. Yeah.
No, he's a moderate Republican. If you like, Obama is a moderate Republican. Clinton is a moderate Republican. If you're a liberal, you're mostly if you're a liberal, you're a moderate Republican. Liberal and the left do not mean the same fucking thing. People don't get that. Because it's still capitalism. If you're still a capitalist, you're on the right. If you still believe that is a good thing in society, which helps, to help me God if you do. Because what's going to kill this planet is capitalism. I wish I could just hate that every week. And I love listening to brainwash people at work about, what are you talking? Why would you take away this person's money? This person, so it's like they don't give a fuck about you. They still think triple economics is a good idea.
Oh yeah, no, that has never been a good idea. That has never
been a good idea for a few people. What do you hate this? What do you hate this week, Mark?
Oh, I hate hypocrites, Ken.
Oh.
Should we talk about GameStop for a minute?
I was hoping you would.
Okay, so full disclosure, I do not have any shares in GameStop. I never have. I do not now. I did not gain or lose any money on this whole deal. But what I loved about this from the moment I heard it, Ken, is you got these guys on Wall Street, okay? That since the 60s, since the invention of the mortgage-backed security, have been robbing Americans blind, have been creating perverse incentives in the economy to crash businesses so they can make money, right?
Yeah.
Somebody finally got a hold of those guys and beat them at their own game, and man, are they whiners!
Oh my God, they're such bitches.
Whiny bitches. Holy smokes! You hear these guys talk? They were just.
They got beat at their own game. Beat at their own fucking game.
It was amazing. How the whining and crying and complaining about how they cheated the market, they manipulated the market. You do that every day.
They do exactly what you guys are doing.
Exactly. It's no different.
When you're shorting the market, when you're basically shorting a business, you can't tell me that these stockbrokers, when they're shorting something, trying to bring a business down, and then all of a sudden this the investment firms comes in and buys them up and then strips them of everything that's good and then sells.
Exactly.
It's like, you tell me those two entities aren't working together.
They are. They are. Short sellers will write business magazine articles without revealing their connection to the hedge fund, talking about how such and such company is in bad shape and is not going to last long, and it drives the stock price down, and then they buy it cheap and they sell it off.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like
exactly.
It's that old thing about a run on a bank.
Yeah.
You say it's going to be a run on the bank, and people get scared, and then there's a run on the bank. People start taking all their money out, and the bank coming down. It's like,
yes. So I was tremendously amused that for once at least, some of those guys had to eat their own shirts. I mean, I was cool with that.
They should be fine.
I'm totally cool with that.
You can't tell me you spent all your millions of dollars. You ain't that stupid, I hope.
One fund lost $2 billion on it, apparently.
Well, they should have saved. You should have saved your money.
Maybe if you'd eaten less avocado toast and craft beer, you'd be in a better spot right now.
You wouldn't be in this
Yeah.
problem right now. Maybe if you didn't have those three mansions in that summer cottage in the Hamptons, you wouldn't be in this problem right now.
I mean, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, get over it.
You bought that downtown New York apartment.
Move along.
$6 million. Sorry.
Yeah. Too
But
bad.
they're protected.
Of course they'll be fine.
They're not gonna go hungry.
No.
These rich motherfuckers are acting like they're gonna miss a meal or some shit.
I
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna go hungry.
I'm just I am all here for the little guy getting over on the big guy every now and then.
Oh, every
Bring it on.
day. I can't wait for the movie to be made about this. It's gonna be hilarious.
Okay.
I love what that's what the thing about it is GameStop. This ain't the last time Wall Street's got to reimagine itself because the genie is out of the bottle. And if they try to pass regulation against this, then they're going to have a lot of lawsuits coming against. Then you guys can't talk to each other anymore.
I have no doubt that lobbyists for the banks,
they're trying to write a bill. I guarantee they're trying to write a bill right now.
Trying to write a bill to stop this.
Lawyers are writing a bill right the fuck now.
Right now.
But what could you put in? You can't use the internet to communicate. What could you put in it?
I'm sure they'll come up with something.
They always
do. They write the rules.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make up some legal term that's never been used before, and it's a mixture of Latin and French. They did a jour d'antan. You can't do that jour d'antan, and
they do this
now.
They do this on purpose. The financiers make finance overly and unnecessarily complicated because people tune out. And when you start talking about stuff people don't understand, they lose interest and they go away. And those guys love that because that allows them to do whatever the hell they want.
Just like politics.
Yes.
They make politics so boring. About building this and where it's like, all right, fuck this. This is boring.
But if you strip it down to what it actually is, it isn't that complicated.
No, it's not.
A lot of people can figure it out, and they don't like that.
They like it being the boys'
got
club.
burned this time.
They like it being the boys' club. But what the internet has done, this is one of those times the internet has worked the way it's supposed to be. The information was right there for everybody to see.
Right.
And
Public
the little guy was like, this isn't that hard. I've read up on this finance shit. Wait a second. Look what they're doing here, guys. Let's get a bunch of people together, buy as much of this shit as we can. If we raise the price, they'll be fucked and have to buy it back from us. Oh, it's beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was awesome.
And they did, of all companies, GameStop. That's fucking hilarious.
I know, right?
All the companies, would you imagine that GameStop would be in this big financial this big conspiracy?
Well, yes, because this happened on Reddit, and let's be honest, right? Reddit users live in their parents' basement, play video games all day. They're well acquainted with GameStop.
Good on you, GameStop and Reddit. Good on you, Reddit.
Good on you. I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Ken and Mark Show.
We're gonna wrap this up, put a little bow on it, and be under 2 hours.
That's right. You can contact us at kenandmarkshow@gmail.com or on Facebook or on Twitter at Ken and Mark Show. This episode will be available on the YouTubes, and hopefully when the pandemic subsides at some point, we'll be able to get back in the studio and make audio versions of this thing because that was fun.
I enjoyed
good night,
it.
everybody.
I enjoyed getting out of the house.
As did I. When was the last time that happened? I don't know.
I'm just because I'm responsible. I go to work, I come home. That's pretty much what I do.
Yep.
Because I don't want to die or be the reason anyone in my house dies.
That is life in the 21st century.
Say la vie.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
Good night, Ken.
Night, Mark.